years to try to ease our minds, forced into a change. I guess it had to be this way. But do your best to try to stay away. The day they closed the world, we all went inside, looking for the light. The day they closed the world, we all realized what it means to try. So hold on to the love, don't you be afraid. There come a time when you will have your say, and don't forget to pray the Lord to keep us safe. We will live to fight another day, the day they closed the world. We all went inside, looking for the light. The day they closed the world, we all realized what it means to try. I can feel it coming, I can see it miles away. I can feel the sun of brighter days. I can hear the laughter, I can see your smiling face. I can feel the love that's on the way. The day they closed the world, we all went inside, looking for the light. The day they closed the world, we all realized what it means to try. The day they closed the world, we all went outside, looking for the light. I can feel it coming, I can see it miles away. I can feel the sun of brighter days. I can hear the laughter, I can see your smiling face. I can feel the love that's on the way. I can feel it coming, I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming, I can feel it coming. The day they close the world.
Good morning. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G. That was The Day They Closed the World by Love Planet. There is their website right there. And what a cool song that is. So, where are y'all watching from this morning? Good morning. Good morning. It's time for a cup of grata. It's a shot of expression, 2 squirts of reality. It's time to wake up to you and meet somebody new. Today, you're going to be meeting a gentleman that I absolutely love. And, his name is Dale Davis. And we've been talking back and forth for a couple years now. And I think it's been a couple years. We'll get that clear when we bring him on. Today's all about taking a quantum leap of faith. There's something using this opportunity that we've all got while we've been in lockdown to do something that we've always wanted to do. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring forward the incredible Dale Davis. We're going to talk about taking that quantum leap, why he's came on today, and let's just have some fun. While I'm bringing him on, which will literally take like beam me up Scotty seconds, tell me where you're watching from, and let's talk about quantum leaping.
Hey, Debbie.
Good morning. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. And ta-ta, you've done it, Dale. You are live on the screen.
I like that. The incredible. And
Isn't that
I'm
awesome?
thinking it's darker because it's going to rain here as the clouds are like really dark here right now.
Okay, where's here?
Here is Edmonton, Alberta. Yes. And I know you have a few from in your group from there. I believe there's another Debbie in there. There's Daphne in there. I don't know. There might even be more than that.
There are actually. We have quite a few Canadians. We have got in fact, I've got a meeting in about 3 hours with another one. Go figure. Okay, so you guys are like the nicest people on the planet ever. I mean, seriously, I gotta say, and if anybody else out there knows anything about a Canadian, it's like they are authentically kind people. I mean, like I love that. And what's it like? I mean, I've never been there. For you, it's normal just to walk around the streets and see everybody. People actually say hi to you there, though. I'm imagining.
Yeah, they do. But like everywhere else, you have your people that are to themselves, but they're the outgoing ones. Like, I don't know, I see it all, but I guess the generalization is we're all smiley and happy.
Um, Actually, yeah, you guys do have that reputation. I mean, Jiminy Crickets. Hey, it's a better reputation than they give you from being from Los Angeles, let me tell you. But really, it's let's get into. I love that you're from Canada. I just do love Canadians so much. I want to talk about why that you're here today, and let's discuss the fact that you have taken a deep dive into the quantum life. Tell me all about how that you even got started studying or researching and embracing this whole idea of quantum. I'm going to call it quantum leaping, like sort of like the show Quantum.
Like the Canadian show Quantum Leap.
There you go, Quantum Leap. Yes, like that. Exactly. Was it a Canadian show?
Oh yeah, it's an old one though. Like it's decades old.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah.
Yeah, no, but I remember that was like way cool too.
Yeah, I never watched it, but I'm sure that it was. I was definitely not. The quantum for me was definitely not then. It's only happened within the last probably 5 years but the spiritual development has been happening since the late 90s.
Let's talk about that.
And when I say that, I always thought, look at Anthony Robbins on stage. Like, wouldn't that be the ultimate thing? Just to talk with your earphone on, like Debbie's doing right now. Except you're just talking to like thousands, and then then you get off the stage, you got all the people waiting for you. Okay, Anthony, where are we going to go next, and and all that stuff. And I thought that's really cool, but I thought I could never do that. Like, listen to him. Like, I don't know, I can't do this. I can't speak like that. I'm not. I'm just not Anthony or Tony, however you want to say it. And then it kind of, I got books, and I got tons of them. But as when you read books and you're not grounded in yourself and in that area, like within yourself, you can read them all, but it's just like you just read it and think that was a wonderful book, and then it goes onto the shelf and it gets dust, and then it gets more dust, and then you just go on with life, and you go back to normal.
Yep,
What you've done before. And you're thinking, oh, maybe that book didn't work. Well, of course it didn't work, because you're reading a book and you're not applying it.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say right now is that you've had the books, and
Oh, yeah.
and they were great dust collectors, but they didn't change. But they didn't change your life. By golly, are you kidding me? You mean you read a book and it didn't change your life?
Well, yeah. But you know what? I can say that now because we're usually more judgmental of ourselves. And I'm sure if I talked to somebody like from 2000 and talked to them today on the street, they probably would see a difference. But seeing that it was really gradual for me, maybe I won't notice it.
Yeah,
So,
that's always true too. I also heard you saying that your confidence wasn't where it was, and today we're talking about taking that quantum leap of faith, stepping out and doing something that you're either terrified of doing, but you're excited. There's a difference between being in fear and being stuck, or to actually take the step forward, take the quantum leap of faith, and be excited and fearful at the same time. But let's go back. So you were reading the books and you're like, okay, but it wasn't giving you the result you were looking for, because you were, one, probably attached to the outcome, but two,
yeah.
putting all the faith in a book or another person besides yourself.
Yeah, they have the answers. I don't have the answers. That's why I have to look to them. They have, they're just, they have a book. They're so brilliant. So they have all the answers.
Is that true?
No. No, they all have, they all got there. They all had a background like I did. They all had shadows, and they found the light and all that stuff. But they just went for it anyways. Like, I'm sure that Anthony Robbins and a lot of the big authors have had the person who said, "Oh, you know what? That's a terrible book. I would never buy that." I'm sure they had those people, but I'm sure they're really, really like stuck in that feeling right now of what those people thought. And you know what? For the longest time, that was me. And in fact, today when I shared this, I thought I'm actually going to be sharing this to my Facebook, my group, and I did it like 10 minutes before.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, that's gonna go to everyone. Like and I never really thought about it. Then I'm sleeping, and it's like 4 or 5 in the morning. I thought, I think I need to share this to the group, like not just groups, but like mine. It's like, oh, like what if people see it? Like all these things are coming in, right? The ego's
Yeah.
just kicking in, like, oh, Dale, you've tried this before. Like, what are you doing? That's, be safe and be comfortable.
Well, yeah, you could have
You
been
know,
just stayed. You could have stayed in bed, put the covers over
yeah.
your head, right?
It's gonna rain. I'm gonna lose the power. It's, I better not chance it.
Oh, you were really trying to talk yourself out of it. So if anybody's curious, you see, Dale and I met through Jessica Alstrom, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then, well, I think that I had her on, and then we started talking. It's been a good couple of years now, and I
Yep.
remember you and I chatting a few times, and I'm like, dude, you need to come on. I just kept feeling like you need to be on, sharing about you and about life and about what this looks like to take a quantum leap, because that's what you've done. You've taken this journey on very seriously, but there's a key thing you did here. You quit relying on um, thinking that you're going to find all the answers outside of you. What does that look like? I mean, when we're doing a quantum leap, you're really taking a lot. You're doing it with faith.
Yeah. In fact, there's a few words that we talked about on the weekend, and that have come up just before this, like judgments, like, oh, gee, like it's probably more in my head than anything, and
That's
this,
usually where it is, Dale.
yeah, and it's been judgment for a long time.
Yep.
In fact, in school, being this skinny little kid. In fact, I remember going to work, and it was for an inventory place, and this is where the workout stuff started. It's no, not the late 90s, probably the early to middle. So I'm doing inventory work. So what you happen to do for that is you get into a van with your group, and you're going to do inventory. And I remember wearing this big leather coat. I'm sure it was like probably a size or two too big. There's lots of room in it. And I was talking, I don't know how we got into the subject, but we got into the subject of, I think just how we're doing, because there's lots of time. It could be an hour drive, right? So there's one guy goes up to my sleeve, and he pinches the arm like this, like, you know what? You need to lift weights. So from there, it's like, oh, maybe, that'd be a cool thing to do. But I never really paid attention to it. And that's where a lot of confidence came. Not necessarily like, when you're 20 and you think, oh, you know what? I just want to be that Arnold Schwarzenegger guy, because he was a big thing back then, the movies Predator and all those ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where that started. And I always used, later on when I was working out, that's where the confidence came in. That's where you start to look into health. That's where I started looking into different avenues, like bettering yourself, which led to Anthony Robbins, which led to all those books, which led to QHHT. It's quantum healing. I know it stands for something, but QHHT. So I was it led to that, which led to Tika, or Jessica Alstrom, which led to Tika, and then a whole rabbit hole of a good rabbit hole this time of quantum.
A good rabbit hole. Okay.
There's more rabbit holes out there right now, but we'll stick with this one, and that's where it all started.
What does quantum mean to you, Dale?
It is. So I'll go to what I always describe myself as now, like especially in a coaching atmosphere. So I always combined crisis intervention specialization. So that's pretty much what I've done. Like you look at troubled youth, you look at all the stuff that they have, you look at security, law enforcement. They're dealing with stuff now. So if something happens like right now outside and it causes panic and fear and pandemonium, blah blah blah, that's pretty much what I'll term with crisis. So in crisis, it's in what we're living in now. So I guess I'll go into 3D and 5D. I don't know if people know what that means here, but if I was saying 3D, there's crisis in that, but there's ways to get around it for those who have not seen quantum yet. And then once you just take the leap and step onto the bridge and want to know more and are more in tune with yourself, and you find just amazing people, not because you found them, because you're ready to see them, you find the quantum area, which is that one step more. It's more finding stuff within you, and then just bringing it. Basically, you start with you, then you bring it to the world, I guess.
Okay, I love that. What do you think, Dale? I think because when I think of quantum, to me, it's vibrational and it is frequency. Like everything is like how that we're aligned. When I think of the quantum, it's like we're aligned based upon our frequency, on our like the space that we sit at, that we emanate out. So if I'm in joy, I'm emanating joy, I'm aligning with that which is more joyful, those people which practice normally those things. Or someone may show up in my life that needs a word, that needs encouragement, that needs hope. But the alignment, it comes because it's just we're both in sync at that time. The other thing with quantum is the ability to, let's say, go through meditation and actually envision aligning with that superhero power that was within you. Because one of the things I know about you, Dale, is that you have been able to tap into your superhero powers. And this is one of the coolest things about you, because like you're really tapped into that. And in fact, you dressed up as a Superman at the convention. I unfortunately missed you just like by a smidgen, but you even like portrayed this in person. It was fabulous because I saw pictures. So when you're tapping into your quantum self, and how do you get into alignment using different, give somebody like an idea of what that looks like when you're getting into alignment and you're actually like when you're preparing to come online live, how did you do that to get yourself in alignment?
Well, it just I can't now. Before I would have anxiety, and then then stumble through it, get red, think what are people thinking, and all that stuff, and then it probably would end in 10 minutes. Now it's just a matter of, like, a breath is a big thing. It's kind of funny how there's a lot of people in my circle who do yoga. It's probably a sign that I should do more yoga anyway. But they're more in tune. They're more in tune with themselves. So I got this like 10 years ago, and I actually found it in the closet. And what I usually would use it for is working out. But it's just like a little apparatus like this. You put in, like, you can breathe it, but you control it, right? You can control how much.
What do you do with it? Let me see. I want to see this.
It's called expand the lungs. So you kind of control how much air goes into your lungs. So you just kind of make like that. So what you do, So I don't really like I won't walk around doing it because it'll probably look like I have a soother in my mouth. But
Oh, like a like a soother, a pacifier. But this is actually helping you. It's a breathing apparatus that you're using to help you with your breath work.
yeah, and now it's like not like you need it. You don't have to have it. But when I have it, I can control how much goes in. So then I can make it last longer. So you can even go 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out if you want. Like when I'm not doing it, like it seems to happen really quick. So now I can control it, go in and out, and I just get into that and I do it like 4 or 5 times. Like
Okay.
in vehicles before, like during the day, whatever. I tried it when I was walking, but I'm losing my breath, so I thought that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, no, please don't faint. So this is really cool. So one of the ways that you get yourself into alignment and to also to release anxiety from something you're getting ready to do that's fearful but scary, and you're taking a quantum leap of faith is to use breath, to use your breath. And I love this because I've been biohacked before. Like I went through a biohacking process with somebody, and the very first thing on the biohack quantum biohack is breath. So this is radical. You said exactly. So if anybody's curious, like, well, what's the first thing I should start with? Your breathing is the first. And so I'm guessing that the apparatus gave you the tangible thing so that you could really get focused and mindful on that. You
Yeah.
know, it's kind of cool, actually. That's kind of cool. So what else? What else are you doing?
You know, I was thinking there's something I've done when I would work out. Workout's a big thing, like in all areas for me.
Mhm. Okay.
Starting as someone who was, you know, uh, I've had my picked on moments in school too, but it's something that gave the confidence and all that stuff. And that's where it all started with doing that. And then everything else kind of came about through different avenues, whether it be in work, whether it be in relationships, whatever. But one thing I always did, and I actually thought about it in the shower yesterday. See, magical things happening in the shower. That might be too much information, but
Okay, y'all. Now we're gonna get to so Dale's gonna tell us about the magic that happened in his shower.
the word came to me. It was called fit test, and I actually always did it, but I never really had any meaning to it. It just kind of happened when I'd work out. So fit meaning, I'd always, you look at Marvel, let's say, Marvel like movies and that, and they're all like they all have power, they all have strength and all that stuff, and they all have a way about them and a focus. So my F was always to find my superhero, um, and just have it in my head like they're always like they're strong. They can do basically anything. And then the I was just imagine the feeling behind it and embody it and all that stuff. So it was, you're going to do your exercise. Like when I used to walk before that, I'd be really tired. But once I get into the atmosphere, it's like I'm home.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
yeah, so then you're imagining it, and then the T was to track it. So like through reps or sets or how much break, like what the break is between, and then just kind of always up it. So I've always done it, kind of find it, imagine it, and track it, and without when I wrote this down yesterday, I thought the ego kicked in. Like this is ridiculous. Like this is going to sound stupid when you say it out loud. You should just keep it in your
Uh-huh.
head. Just who's going to want to hear that? Like it sounds ridiculous, Dale. Just don't even say it. So
Okay,
I just
wait. Did I just hear that you're talking to yourself? Anybody out there? And good morning to everyone who's watching. I see you, Cindy. I see you, John, and everyone else. If I don't see your name, anybody else ever had that little voice that talks to you and has like a lot of shit to say, and it's shit talking, and it's like it's a I think that this is about the most normal human thing ever. But you're still here and you just talked about it. So apparently you told the little voice what's up.
Yeah, it's not like I'm talking out loud. Like it's not like I'm causing a scene when I'm walking around and
Yeah, I would
grabbing
hope. Yeah, I
attention.
hope not
Oh,
because
here.
now they might have you go into a special place if you just
Yeah,
walk around talking out loud. You can't do this. Can you just imagine? Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I
yeah,
don't go around talking out loud when the little voice clicks in either. Her name is Corella Deville, actually, and this happens for Cindy constantly. So we're definitely not alone here. All right,
good.
so back to your little voice. How did you tame the voice to get on here and talk about it? Talk about fit.
It's kind of just shoving him in the corner. Just, you're almost saying, it's like if I'm wearing the uniform, or when I used to be in the trouble youth sector, it's almost like you're saying stop to it, and then it's my turn, and I'm going, like, I'll sit there for a minute, like when I was talking about when I pressed the button to share this. You sit there thinking, maybe I'll just forget to share it. Oh, I forgot, Debbie. No, so just stare it for a minute and then press it. So just a matter, you just have to do it, I guess. I've heard this a lot. I've had different coaches throughout the years, and basically they all said the same thing. It all came down to the action word. And I remember this word from Saturday as well, because there might have been a class on Saturday where I've heard the action. It was loud and clear. And it just so happened that this was on Tuesday, so I thought, this is perfect. This is how you break it. I'm just going to plug this in. There we go. And yeah, that's why I am here now.
I love this. So if everybody's getting this, like, we all have fear over something. We want to take the quantum leap. We want to do this thing, but we have this fear in us, or this thing, this voice that's saying, you can't do that. I don't know what you're thinking. You don't have what are you thinking? And if you heard what Dale just said, it was, yo, go sit down. But we're not, it's my turn. I'm up. Okay. And you begin to learn to see and understand and have your own voice. And now let's go back to the superhero thing. Cause listen, you hear a lot of people talk about, there's a few different terms out there, sub-personality or archetype. Archetype and sub-personality are pretty much the same deal. But we hear a lot of that when people are talking about it in a sense of looking at all of their dark parts. But there's a way of doing this where we look at our light and we look at the parts of us that we want to integrate. So I've done the archetypal work too. Talk about what that looked like for you, because you mentioned Marvel, and then talking about the integration of your superpowers, what that looks like, because this is all quantum stuff, guys. It's just really making decisions and using your imagination is all that we're really talking about here. Okay, so it's not some freaky weaky woo woo anything. It's actually stuff it's really becoming more in tune to what you're thinking, and really more in tune with your intentions of what that you want in your life. Okay, so how did you integrate your superhero power?
How did I integrate it? You know what? Now I think it came from a long time ago. Like, you always thought, wow, that's really cool. Like, I remember watching The Incredible Hulk Sunday at 3. Always, it was the hour show, of course, right? And it was like, now, he always, he'd be able to, he turned green, of course, but he'd be able to, like, he had power, like, no one standing in his way. And then there was Superman, of course, way back then with Christopher Reeve, and it's like, this guy can, like, he can do stuff here, but he can do stuff somewhere else, and he's really in tune with himself. He can talk with a normal, like, with society, but he can also go above that kind of thing, and literally above it too. So I don't know. I guess I kind of use the frequency, vibration with it as well. I try. Really, I use a lot of this, and I kind of find it in whatever I'm doing. Like, Captain Marvel is an example, and there's something on YouTube called The Trailer 2, and I've watched it numerous times, because there's lines in there, and
What's it
I
called?
hear them. It's for Captain Marvel. But there's lines in there, and I always and I hear them a lot, but I always play it, and it's almost like workout music, but it's not music at all. It's a trailer, like it's 2-3 minutes. But it's really like I had to write it down, because I don't remember exactly how they said it. But when you, like, so it began with like, as soon as Annette Bening would be talking, it really goes into the head, and you get goosebumps, and you just, like, I use it even to wake up. Like, really, it explains a lot about me. Like, when they say, your life began, like, your life began the day it nearly ended. We found you. we made you one of us. It's almost like something higher talking to me, and then so you can live longer, stronger, superior. So it's like bringing out the superhero in you. You were reborn. Yeah, like you almost like you're bringing your shadow self to the or light to the shadow self. And then when she says, I keep having these memories, something in the past is the key to all this. Well, yeah, it is. Like it goes back to all the past, everything that has been, that's where I am now. Like all my experiences, work, family, all that stuff has brought me to this point now, and it's all perfect. So kind of when she says those lines, especially at once, it's like, it's really, it's a powerful thing. I just listen to it even when I wake up, and it's only like 2 minutes, and it's not even a song. It's some words.
This is awesome.
From a Marvel movie. But
I'm loving this. And you integrate the energy of it. And so the way that looks is, I absolutely love this. First of all, let me just say that if you all haven't caught on to this, I'm gonna help you out here with this one. This literally is how that you start breaking the victim syndrome process. There is something so key in all of this. Not once have you heard Dale go back, well, let me tell you about my story, and so that he could give you this gripping recount of his life and his abused, whatever. I'm not saying that you had the abused, whatever. I'm just saying that there's so many people who are so stuck in a broken record of, I had alcoholic parents, I come from this, I come from that. And one thing that I've noticed about people who truly are stepping into their superhero power is they don't do that. Instead, they look at everything that they've been through as an opportunity for them. Everything that they've done is something to bring them to where they are at now. So you use radical appreciation, which is brilliant. And it's also how that we move forward from being stuck in victim syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh, check this out, dude. Let's see what does Cindy have to say here. That voice. I thought you meant my inner companion voice who hangs out and plays with me. My wah wah voice that tries to drag me down gets its ass kicked by my companion voice who knows I'm great. Yay for Cindy. Oh my God, I love you. So her wham wham, that's the one we call the wham-bulance for. Wham-bulance! Because I don't know about you, but I whiner complainer on steroids. I swear to God I was. Which gives me the opportunity to talk about whambulances, because I had to call it on myself like all the time. I still have to call myself a whambulance. I mean, it's just not even, I don't think it ever goes away. I love how, and she loves Marvel heroes. Isn't that the coolest? So the other thing, so we've talked about breath, and then the other thing you do to integrate your superhero power is you have that one thing that gets you into that motivation and that energy, and it happens to be a 2-minute YouTube that works for you. And I think that this is radical. So you guys, what kind of cool things out there? I'll share one of mine that you have that just gets you up and moving and lifts you to that space of being unstoppable and unfuckwithable. I mean, quite frankly, because the fact is that we're pretty unfuckwithable. I don't think at this stage it's that we get too out of shape when somebody disagrees, doesn't agree, or whatever the case may be. Are you at this space now where you're just really happy to let other people be right in their own space and have their own dark and be good with that?
Yeah, you know what? I used to think, well, they're doing it wrong. Like that's not, like they're not watching the news. They're not listening to things, and that's not right. Well, of course I know now. Of course, it's the total opposite. They probably were right when I was watching the news, but one thing I don't do now is really get stuck in the past. Like I used to do that a lot, and that's where of course the depression part comes in. And I catch myself now still, but I'm aware of it, because one thing we create our reality, right? So if you want to stay in the past, well then, okay, then you have it. It's not a secret what's going to happen next, right?
No.
we all create our, and it's free will. You know, you can stay where you are now. I can go think about the future and what's going to happen in an hour. You know, when I go to work, it's like, oh, what's going to happen? I can go to the past and think, oh my God, like that's going to drive you nuts.
Totally.
The thing is, you see all the time. You can see people's realities, especially this time in world reset, where people are at, and they don't have to say a word, and you can see where they're at.
Mm-hmm. Actually, this is isn't this the best opportunity for us to take that observant space and go, yeah, I see where it's at. And to really start switching up how that we're viewing things. I mean, I realize the world has one way. I love what you said. I'm just gonna stop right there. Thinking other people aren't doing it right. Oh my
Mhm.
God. So we all have our opinion of what that might look like. But the fact is that I got a really rude awakening because I really want to intervene with my son who's 28 years old. And by the one that's 31, almost 32. I want to intervene every time I think they're not doing it right. Okay? I got a huge wake-up call with that one. And as much as I practice knowing that they have every right to live their dark, that my interfering with their dark interferes with their growth, I still, as the mama, want to jump in and try to tell them, now you're not making a good decision here. I really don't think that. Don't you think you ought to think about that decision that you're making? Because I just know you and I both know what that's going to lead to. I don't even know what you're doing right now. Well, the fact is that when I was 28 years old, if somebody said that to me, I'd probably go, "Huh, ha, yeah, you're gonna tell me that I don't know something about a yada yada yada." In fact, I think at 52 years old, I might still kind of go, "Ha!" Why? Because I don't know truly what's best for anyone else other than myself. And it has taken a journey of I can't begin to even this beautiful journey to see that. So when you just said that, I thought to myself, it happens with the kids too. And even though I think as a mom, I'm just conditioned in that space to just want to be able to think I know what's better for my kids than they do, but just because I birthed them doesn't mean I do. So yeah, when we have our own opinion, when we have our own way of
Mhm.
doing something, it's super important to stick with that. And even though other people may not agree with what you're doing, how you're doing it, or trying to tell you you're doing it the wrong way. I've had people even walk out, Dell, I've been doing this for a bit, quite a bit. And I've had people who are my biggest supporters and love me to death, and then have this one thing they just freaking disagree with suddenly, and this opinion, and then they're gone. You know, and I used to take it personally, and it's like what it came down to was realizing that this is vibrational, this is frequency, this is not good or bad, higher, lower, better than, or whatever. It's not any of that. It's just the way it is. And when those people, but most of the time, it's because I wasn't doing what they thought was right. So,
Mhm.
how did you take your quantum leap into that? Because you quantum leaped it. You went, all right, this is where it is, and this is what I want to be. And how did you get to that space? Because you did it. And good morning to Allison and Javier, Francisco, Javier, my darling, I love you, and Allison. Okay.
I, I would say that, I'm still working in the flow. Like there's still, I still, I'm not there yet. Like, there's time, relationships, health, and money, of course. So I'm still working in all those things too. Like, so I'm still progressing and getting myself, like getting more in the flow, getting the river going faster, that kind of thing. But at least it's moving, and it's going quicker than it did, let's say, last week, because last week I was different. My reality was different last week, and now it's different today. So yeah, I don't know. They just happen moment by moment, and it's a matter of just keeping your frequency vibration in check. And if you think you're going way off, or you're, like in my workspace, there's sometimes where like I'm not going anywhere, and you're working with someone who's totally not on like quantum no. So you almost, I bring my own stuff, and I'm totally set up like I will be today, and I'm totally set up in my own little office space, and it's all going to be here, and it'll be just perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it safe to consider everything's the way it's supposed to be just because it is, and that the more that we fight against it, the worse it gets, but the more that we accept that what is exactly the way it should be, that things get easier?
Yeah, acceptance. You're aware of it, you accept it, you acknowledge it. And then if you don't like it, you release it. I just sit with, I sit with more with myself now than I used to.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that has something to do with, I don't know, TICA or teacher training, or all the different things that the quantum Mama Alstrom has, because a lot of this stuff has come from quantum Mama Alstrom.
Quantum Mama Alstrom.
Yeah,
Jessica, you're going to have to let Jessica know about that name, because that one's killer. I love that one. Oh my
it just came out now. I usually say Queen of Quantum or some other thing, but quantum Mama Alstrom today. Reality will be different tomorrow, so it should be something different tomorrow. But that's where a lot of this stuff was started.
Yeah.
We're going into the basement, which a lot of times I didn't want to do. Like, I've gone in the basement to face this stuff, like, whoa, and there's still stuff that I work on still now, right? So, but
Dale, can you start? I didn't mean to interrupt there, but can you explain what going into the basement looks like for you?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Explain this in a few words. So there's 10th floor and there's basement, but how are you going to get to the, am I just going to go to the 10th floor right now with what I know right now? Or somebody on the street go to the 10th floor right now? They have to work on themselves. They got to align themselves. They got to go to the deep root of things. If you don't go to the deep root of it, it's always going to be there. Like, you look at all the books that I had during the years.
Yeah.
That stuff was, for people, life-changing. Like, this is big names and big stories and bestsellers. And did I go to the basement for any of it? Probably not. You read it, it stayed in my mind for a bit. So it didn't go to the root. It kind of stayed somewhere else. But and then nothing happened. And then here you go 2 decades later, and now I'm getting to the root of things. So it's a lot different, and that's where you need to go. And so that's the basement. So you're going into the shadowy parts of you that you don't want to face, but you got to face them to accept it, acknowledge it, and release it, and all that stuff, and sit with it, and all that stuff, and then work yourself up from there. And then you'll start going up the steps, and before you know it, you'll be on the 4th floor and 5th, and people, all your, like, the people that you in the society you see now, you'll think, God, they talk different. They don't talk different. You do. You've always been there, but now you're on and so there's less people. So then you have to kind of say, hello, is everybody? Oh yeah, I see someone over there. So now I can talk to him, because everybody else won't know what you're talking about. I did an experiment at work once. I started talking about, the reason it's not like that is because, the frequency vibration, you're probably on, you're still on the 3rd, 4th floor. You're still in the matrix of things. And I went on for about 30 seconds, and they just kind of, and then I went back to whatever they were doing, right? They had no idea, but I did it on purpose. I just wanted to see the reaction. But yeah, you're not going to know. Like, people where I was at, like, in my 20s, this is all weird stuff. This is not stuff you learn on the TV, like the TV and the news. That's where your current events are. And right. Books. This author knows a lot. I don't know any of this. I got to get it from other places because I don't know anything. That kind of stuff.
That's not true.
Yeah, I know it now. Yeah.
Right. So and thank you, Adrian. Way to go. Looky. Quantum leap of faith. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you. Cindy likes that. Going to the basement, take it to the mattresses. And we have, I think people get stuck in the past because they have nothing new to talk about. I've noticed that with the locals. Even if your life seems like nothing new is happening, if you learn something new every day, it becomes the present. Oh, I love that. Cindy's completely resonating with you. I'm loving this. I'm absolutely adoring this, actually. I think this is fabulous. You know, we all have, I think everybody has that moment where they look at somebody else and they're like, I want to be that. But
Mhm.
but but then they get into possibly, getting into comparison, and then that again is coming from, of course, our ego space, and when they get into that space of comparison, then it starts feeling heavy, and then, that's with the old story. Comparison is always attached to the old story.
Mhm.
In my world anyway. So what helped me was this state of compersion, and that is to be celebrating like what I love about what Adrian just now, this is compersion. Being in celebration of other successes and their accomplishments, truly being in that. And I love this. And one of the things that you're talking about right now is how that you have stepped into this leap of faith, this quantum leap of faith. I love that you've studied with Jessica and that you've read books and all of that, but I'm really appreciating how that you know that you are your own guru. It is within you, and that is where it truly lies. And this is for everybody. We are here to remind each other of our greatness and our magnificence is what I truly believe. And we show up, and like Jessica's a good one. Man, if anybody has ever checked out Jessica Alstrom, you need to. I've had her on several times. She's one of my favorites too. I love Jess.
Mhm.
But what I'm really loving here is that you're not putting her up on a pedestal, but yet you're in this beautiful space of light with her and stepping into your own power, your own inner guru, and expressing that. And before you get into that, I want to just bring up, hey, good morning, Jay. Mayor, how are
Mhm.
you? Hey, hey, hey. Basement is like hypnosis counting down from 10. How
There
does
you
that
go.
resonate? I like that is actually pretty cool, right?
Mhm.
Isn't that kind of rad?
10 is where where we all want to, 10 is where you always want to be, but it's like, maybe Sunday, or I wish I could do that. It's like a lottery ticket. But this lottery ticket you can actually get to, where the other lottery ticket is like one in like what, how many millions? But then you live like that, but you can still get there. Um, that's probably really disbanded way to say it, but
I think it's a perfectly good way to say it. I am going to actually do a really quick commercial break. For anybody that is curious, uh, I'm so excited to be able to play this. So, Love Coach Academy is one of my favorite places to study and to be reminded of my greatness and get the tools to do this human thing just a little bit easier. And now we have incorporated Jay Mayer, excuse me, Jay, you know what? I just completely bloopered your name. Don't you love this? And I'm on live. Did you see that, Dale? Guess what? I just completely bloopered on live in person and I'm still breathing. Isn't this a beautiful thing? You can screw shit up and and you're still going to live past it. It it's it's amazing, it's amazing. So if anybody's, like, in anxiety because they just screwed something up, love you just for being so human. Anywho, I'm excited because this Jay's work is called Light Touch, and it incorporates, um, getting very mindful with intentions and setting and affirmations and really stepping into the angelic energy and also calling in the energy of source, of God source energy, whatever y'all want to call it, but it's light touching. Couples can do this, but I'm single, and so I have this feather here. And it was just like, thank you for my life, and thank you for the abundance, and just thanking you. So I'm doing this right now, and honestly, I'm loving this, Dale. My God, I can like pet myself. All right. I know. I mean, seriously, this is why my doggies love it when we pet them because it feels so good. It does. And then if we're putting affirmations with it, we're just bringing ourselves alive and in alignment with our thoughts, which, as you've already said it, we create our reality. Jay says mental and spiritual wellness, invoking blessings. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to jump into the little commercial that I was talking about. Ready, set.
Love Coach Academy is a collective of heart-based individuals. We have helped thousands around the world to overcome challenges, have greater relationships through understanding each other. We combine the wisdom of Marshall Rosenberg, nonviolent communication, emotional intelligence skill building, tools to change our neural pathways from reptile brain reactivity into frontal lobe responsiveness. Under the leadership of Scott Katamas and his core group of coaches, we are excited to announce our new partnership with Jay Mayer and Light Touch. We are adding his techniques to our collective tool belts. Join our upcoming free online webinars, giving you the support to thrive.
Woo! Yay! Isn't that exciting? Did you know I play commercials, and isn't that the funnest thing ever?
I bet it is.
So, Dale, there's been some other things. So we've talked about a lot of really cool things today about taking that quantum leap of faith, the quantum leap of faith, and different tools that you have to in order to integrate the life that you are creating right now, this reality you are creating right now. And you're getting ready to do even more quantum leaping of faithing with your stepping into coaching and doing some other things. Talk to me about what you're doing next.
So coaching is like when I was saying earlier about combining. It's like I'm a bridge, a mirror. So you're combining matrix into quantum, I guess, in a really short term. But it's like, so taking what I've learned, experienced, and all that stuff in crisis intervention, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and bringing it also with quantum architecture. Oh, quantum architecture sounds so wonderful. And bringing them together, but kind of using both, but seeing that you have all the answers, like when I was saying about all the books in the world that I have, nothing wrong with the authors, anything like that. But if I'm going to everyone else for the answer, then I will tell myself that I don't know any answers, which I did for a long time. So with quantum, you find the answers in yourself. Crisis. So you got to get to quantum first. If you're living in where I was, and all within society now, you got comparison, judgment, all that. So you have to have ways to get through that first. So that's where so that we're all the crisis and all that stuff. Not that people are in crises, but it's a really general term. If I say I'm in a crisis, you saying you're in a crisis, could be totally different. So it's relative to the person, but just helping them through that phase, and then within that, letting them know that they have the answers in themselves. But that's a process, of course. They're not just going to believe that off the top, because I didn't. So I wouldn't think that anyone else like other people would do it right off the top. Some will. So it's kind of like I'm being a bridge, a mirror for someone. Sometimes you need that person in the mirror to give you that little kick, that little you're doing, to point things out that you wouldn't see. But that's basically what I would, what it is pointing those little things out that can really shape you in the long run, but you don't really notice. So then if you don't notice them, you'll always have them, kind of thing, I guess.
I love that. And I'm thinking that what I love about that is that you're guiding, as we're a guiding light for others.
Yeah.
We get to use our experience and all of those other great things and the tools. And the tools are the important part. So what you're offering are tools from the tool belt that you have been gathering along the journey and along the way, from the books you've read to the awesome coaches you've had. And I do believe in coaches 150%. I believe that we should always have somebody that we are open and willing to be expanding with, And this is what's so vital about it. So I want everybody to give Dale 1,000,000 hearts right now for taking a quantum leap of faith this morning, doing his very first live, which I've been hammering him to do for like a couple years. Well, about a year now. I've been like, and I remember being in Huntington Beach going, "Come on, Dale, you want to go live." So I get these downloads from spirit that tell me that when somebody needs, to show up and do and bring them on this platform, Spirituality Gone Wild, is just this. So the great people who are doing great work out there in this world can be seen. Doesn't matter to me whether there's a following or there's not. This matters to me is the human being that has stepped forward, like Dale has done here, to be a light for those that maybe are sitting in a space that feels really dark. For people like Jay Mayer who are stepping forward saying, "Hey, I've got this modality that's super. I still can't, seriously. I could just I could pet myself all day, but I mean, really, I have this tool for you, and this tool is going to help you to have a more comfortable and happy existence." And that's what you're offering people, Dale, is tools for that. So if anybody wants to reach you, how do they do that?
A lot of my things now are under construction because, well, you know what? It's my own thing. It's my own shadows. Even with that, it's like, well, if people are going to see me if I finish this. Procrastination was always a thing for me leading up to like present day. So the easiest thing now would be either like the Facebook Messenger, just to connect there, or there's two emails I could give. One is ddglobal20@gmail.com, and then there's one that's strive, so STRIVE number 2 EXCEL at MSN.com. It's going to be more the first one. That's going to be the future one to replace the other one, because this is going to be more specific to coaching and all that. The other one's more generic, but I see them both. And then of course Facebook Messenger, and that'll be the tie-in right now. As we go on, as the weeks go on, and then there'll be more to go with. But yeah, that's where it is. I've had to be a shadow warrior for a while, but now the warrior side is coming out more. So yep. In other words, dealing with the basement stuff and then bringing it to the light warrior. But you got to connect them both. We're all both anyway. Star Wars is so real, so Luke Skywalker, and so Darth Vader that it's funny. But yeah, that's another hour in itself.
I'm loving that. Okay, Star Wars, yeah. And in fact, I love that you brought that up, because I'm actually a Jedi in training for peace. I do believe, what if peace on Earth were possible by 2030? And I do believe that. So I'm part of peace2030.earth. Y'all need to check that out, and you can come play and learn and get into the Jedi training with me. Okay, so Star Wars is real, but that is a whole other completely separate topic. I love that, though. I love that. And I'm seeing 1212 in front of my eyes, guys. That's the universal language of oneness. Hello, numbers. Keep your eyes on those numbers. The angels are talking to you, man. Do you ever notice that, Dale? 11, 12, 12.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's all. And the magic that we can create, you can create your own reality. You do have the power. I got the power. So remember that. I love you guys. Yes, peace2030.earth. Peace2030.earth. Absolutely. I can't wait until you all are on playing with me. You can be a poet like I am. I was a poet and didn't know it. Peace on Earth team leader. I'm a Peace on Earth team leader. So I'm a poet. Anyway, I just had to do that blurt. Dale, you have been fabulous. Cindy says, well done, Dale. Louis, D'Angelo, I do see your comment, but we're up on the hour and we've got to roll. I appreciate everybody who's interacted today. And if you are interested in working with anybody or embracing any of the things that we've talked about today, and you want that new tool in your life, message me on Spirituality Gone Wild. I'll get you in touch with anybody that you see on here or anything that you'd like to know know more about. And there goes my voice. It's time.
Mhm.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
All right. It's been awesome. Change oneself and change